Mansfield in the morning.
The analogy I'm using today is that depending on what is within us, when life bumps into us, as it bumps into all of us, that's what spills out. So a few years ago, probably 18 months, 2 years ago, I was going through a little rough patch, and a friend of mine took me down to Pringle Bay.
Ooh.
And she sleeps late, so in the morning it was just the two of us in her home. I took the car, went for walks on the beach, and had a swim, and then sat and watched the waves. And in fact, I got known as a person from Joburg who was swimming, because they thought I was a bit insane. And I was watching the waves one day and grumbling to God about life, because life does bump into all of us. And as I watched those waves, my answer came to me, because there are peaks and there are troughs, and there's then that little stillness before the next wave comes. And I felt that God was saying to me, do you really just want that stillness in your life? Because if you want the peaks, you have to take the troughs as well. But you can look at what's within you, and you have the strength to get through this. And so this morning, what I want to say is that when life bumps into us, and it's bumped into all of us with this COVID-19.
Yeah, it has.
I think it's really hit all of us, and we're all reacting in different ways, and we're all experiencing it differently. It's not okay to say we're all in one boat. We're not. We're all in different boats, perhaps in the same storm. Depending on our circumstances, we're all experiencing it differently, and it's okay, because none of us have experienced it before. But we can change what comes out.
And some people's boats are on a trough, in a trough, and some are on a peak, and some are in a bit of still water.
Absolutely, because it's a storm.
Yeah.
So different times at different places. And I think that's why we need people around us. Perhaps, I mean, we have to socially distance ourselves. But we need people, because when you're in a trough, I need to be at a peak to pull you up. And so you need all the people around. So what comes out of us might be gentleness, generosity of spirit, kindness, calmness, peacefulness, or perhaps it will be anxiety and depression and anger, which shows itself out of worry, really. Anger often comes out of a place of worry or hurt. And so we need to be aware of what's coming out of us, firstly, and secondly, we need to be aware of what we're putting in us, because if we're not feeding ourselves, we're going to run on empty. And we need to spend that time actually, whatever it is for you, whether it's, I say to people, go home and have a bath, a bubble bath, read a book, light a candle. If it's having a beer, well, if you've got beer left, you can have a beer. Whatever it is, do what makes you feel good. Sit in the garden, meditate, read. Take some time out for you to feed you, so that what's going into you is calm and peaceful and good. So that what comes out of you as life bumps into you and you hit those troughs is also good for you and for the people around you. So it's important to look at what you're putting in. So that's what I want to leave you with today. Think about it, look at yourselves, observe yourself, see what's coming out, and maybe you need to be feeding something more into yourself so that the goodness can come out.
Here it comes! It's Mansfield in the morning. Driven by Sandown Motors, your Mercedes-Benz partner. On